Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Shalom, swastiastu, namo buddhaya, salam. Your Excellency Professor Insinyur M. Amandura Karta Kusuma, Director of IP International Business School. Your Excellency Mrs. Dr. Subandria, Expert Policy Analyst, Coordinator, Halal Registration, Halal Product Assurance. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to notify you again to listen in Bahasa Indonesia. We provide a Bahasa Indonesia interpreter by clicking the globe icon on your Zoom taskbar. Now, we will come to our first agenda. Allow me to welcome the Rector of IPMI International Business School, Professor Insinyur M. Aman Wirakarta Kusuma, to deliver his welcoming remarks. Professor Aman, the time and place are yours.
Thank you, Bu Putri. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to Halal Business Management Dialogue, Mandatory Halal Certification in Indonesia. First, please allow me to greet our distinguished speakers, Ibu Dr. Subandria, the Expert Policy Analyst, Minister of Religious Affairs, Ibu Efrin Lutfika, Director of IHATEC, Ibu Lena Prawira, Deputy Head of International Cooperation GAPI. Halo, Bu Lena. Pak Sancoyo Antarikso, the Chairman of Indonesian Cosmetic Company Association, Perkosmi, Prof. Marco Timan, Senior Fellow of IPMI Case Center, Dr. Dery Habir, the Director of Case Center of IPMI, who is now in Australia, Pak Agus Lukman, the Senior Fellow of IPMI Case Center as moderator. Distinguished participants, especially from overseas countries, which I listed: Nigeria, Kazakhstan, Japan, United Kingdom, Brazil, and of course, Indonesia. Distinguished guests, IPMI colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted that I can be with you for this webinar. The basic reason for IPMI conducting this webinar is the implication of the enactment of the PP number 39, year of 2021, about the operation of assurance of halal products. The implication will affect the management and the certification of halal products available in the country on the product produced domestically as well as imported ones. As a business school, IPMI sees that this is a strategic and important issue. All parties involved and active in producing products or distributing and selling the products must be aware and ready when the PP number 39/2021 fully enforced in 2024. Issues on halal products, including certification, emerged since 1980s, and final political debate was submerged when the Parliament enacted the national law number 33, the year of 2014, followed by the PP Government Regulation number 39/2021. This is a long historical process and journey in settling down the issue on halal, and for Muslim society and communities is a basic need. Nowadays, many innovation that ends in commercialization is driven by production in the upper stream side. This is the global trend, not only specific to Indonesia. However, I do notice that the drive for the consumer ends is relatively limited. In fulfilling the achievement of sustainable food system in terms of food and nutrition security, food safety, and healthy diets, the UN Food System Summit 2021 suggested that we have to change the strategy by giving more focus on consumers or demand sides. The demands driven has to be associated with the resiliency of local communities considering their traditional knowledge and wisdom. The sustainable food system must provide healthy diets, affordable, safe, accessible, and make the people happy and secure. Halal requirement is not only limited to food, but also go beyond foods, such as cosmetics and medicine. As a country of 270 million population, with the majority Muslim, the needs to comply with halal requirement is unquestionable and will be aligned with the goals of having sustainable development by 2030. So, ladies and gentlemen, with this background, IPMI has embarked a cooperation with IHATEC. As a school of business, the business in Indonesia and other countries will be affected by the new law and regulation. It is our responsibility to literate and increase the capacity of the communities, producers, consumers, and our foreign partners on the implication of the law number 33, 2014, and the PP number 39, 2021. So we are very grateful and appreciate IHATEC for supporting this webinar. Ladies and gentlemen, in facing all these new challenges and opportunities, we should recognize the efforts led by our notable keynote speakers, distinguished panelists, and our IPMI Center for arranging this excellent forum on halal business management dialogue, mandatory halal certification in Indonesia, which I express my deep gratitude and appreciation. Finally, I wish you all for a productive and useful deliberation. Thank you and have a good afternoon. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, Prof. Aman, for the opening remarks. Dear ladies and gentlemen, next we would like to welcome Ibu Dr. Subandria to deliver her keynote remarks. For your information, Ibu Subandria is currently the Expert Policy Analyst Coordinator of Halal Registration in the Halal Product Assurance Body, or BPJPH, under the Ministry of Religious Affairs. Hello, Ibu. I hereby pass the floor to you.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I don't open my camera because my internet not compatible and running down my position in one village in Malang. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirrabbilalamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrofil anbiya'in wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain, amma ba'du. Honorable Professor Engineer Aman Wira Kartakusuma, MSc PhD, Rektor IPMI, Sekolah Tinggi Manajemen. Good afternoon, Pak. Thank you for your invitation.
Thank you for coming.
Yes. Honorable Ibu Lena Prawira, Deputy Head of International Cooperation of Indonesian Food and Beverages Industry Association, GAPMI. Good afternoon, Ibu. Honorable Bapak Sanjaya Antarikso, Chairman of Indonesian Cosmetics Companies Association, Perkosmi. Good afternoon, Bapak. Assalamualaikum.
Selamat siang. Waalaikumsalam.
Selamat siang. Honorable Dr. Marke Timan, Senior Fellow IPMI Case Center, CEO of LBB International. Honorable Ibu Eprin Lutfika, STPM TPN, Director of Indonesia Halal Training and Education Center. And Honorable Bapak Agus Lukman, Senior Fellow IPMI Case Center. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all participants of International Webinar IPMI IHATEC Halal Business Management Dialogue, Accelerating the Implementation of Government Regulation Number 39 2021. Good morning, selamat pagi, selamat siang, selamat sore, selamat malam. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Salam. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya. Salam kebajikan. Firstly, I would like to appreciate the collaboration of IPMI and IHATEC to be held for this event. My name is Subandria. On behalf of BPGBH, let me to start my speech. New era halal certification. Operator, can you share my PPT? Okay. Indonesia's law and halal regulation, especially the law number 11 of 2020 concerning job creation and government regulation number 39 of 2021 concerning the implementation of halal product assurance. It was shortly time for halal certification process from 60 days to 20 days. Ministerial regulation number 20 of 2021 concerning halal certification for SMEs, micro and small, that super decree of health PPGBH number 33 of 2022 concerning technical guideline for assisting the process of halal product and determining the obligation to the certified of halal for SMEs based on their statement. Then decree of health BPGPH number 57 of 2022 concerning the manual of the halal product assurance system in bahasa sistem jaminan produk halal, and then for halal certification with statement of SMEs by SAFE declare, and decree of health BPGPH number 58 of 2022 concerning stipulation of verification and validation instrument by halal product process facilitators companion. Now we look up that status achievement of BPGPH 2018 under 2022. Number one, infrastructure. BPGPH has building laboratory included LPH laboratory. Number two, networking institution cooperation between BPGPH and 34 Satgas Halal, and then 21 Relpan ministries, 31 Halal Inspection Agency LPH, and 156 PPH assistant institution or lembaga pendamping proses produk halal. Number three, human resource development. There are 204 PPGP personnel, 374 petugas Satgas Halal of Indonesia, 168 halal auditor, 250 halal supervisor, 2078 PPH companion or pendamping proses produk halal. And number four, supporting technology information. That BPGPH has halal information system. Its name is Halal platform, which integrated system with LPH and so LNSW, Lembaga Nasional Single Window, via cukai, double S, BKPM, and number five, cooperation. In cooperation, BPGPH has done domestic collaboration with relevant ministries, higher education, LPH, and MUI. In the international cooperation, there are 100 halal wikat body from 38 countries has submitted. And there are 6 countries has done signing G2G MOU, Chile in 2020, Argentina 2021, Hungary, Belarus, and UAE dinar standard, and Hak Turkey 2022. BPGPH was active in the national, regional, and international meeting. National level, BPGPH hand in hand with relevant ministries has become Team Delhi. And regional level, BPGPH had delegate Halal Indonesia of IMTGT, working group of HAPAS, MABIM, ASEAN working group on halal food, and BIMNIAGA, and international meetings like Indonesia Turkey CEPA, Indonesia Australia CEPA, Indonesia Canada CEPA, Indonesia Uni Emirat CEPA. And then we look the new era halal certification. Mandatory of the law number 33 to 2014, Article 4, especially Article 4. We can back first slide, before this slide, before. Next, no. The obligation, yeah. The obligation certified of goods and services, goods like food, drinks, drug, cosmetic, chemical products, biological products, genetically engineered products, use and utilize goods, services like slaughter, processing, storage, packaging, distribution, trading, presentation. The state of certification was starting October 17, 2019, up to October 17, 2024, especially for food and beverages. And non-food beverages started October 17, 2021. The new halal certification process described as gold triangles between BPGPH, maybe next slide, BPGPH, LPH, and MUI. Next slide. Oh. Not yet. Okay, I will continue. The new era halal certificate process described as gold triangles between BPGPH, LPH, and MUI, especially Fatwa Council. LPH can be held by central or district government, higher education, or Islamic institution. LPH supported testing or inspecting for halalness product by laboratory ISO 17025. And MUI supported Fatwa Halal. There are two kinds of halal certification process, regular and self-declare. And the differences of regular and certification and self-declare, that self-declare was not touched by LPS. The self-declare was priority for SMEs, micro and small SMEs. The halal product process facilitators, companion or PPH, will support to micro and small business operator how to process halal certification using the halal application. Both regular and self-declare have the same period halal certificate for 4 years. Now, I will information especially for halal product assurance system or SGPH. SGPH is an integrated system compiled, implemented, and maintained to regulate material, halal production processes, products, resources, and procedures in order to maintain this sustainability of halal product process. The halal product assurance or SGPH must be implemented by business operator to maintain production consistency during the validity period of the halal certificate. The principles of SGPH include protection, justice, legal certainty, accountability and transparency, effectiveness and efficiency, professionalism, added value, and competitiveness. This SGPH applies to all product categories that must be certified halal, including goods and or services, apply to all categories of business operators who are subject to the obligation of halal certification in accordance with statutory regulation for micro, small, medium, and large business operator. The criteria for the halal product assurance system include commitment and responsibilities, material, halal product process, products, monitoring and evaluation. The commitment and responsibility in this SGPH include halal policies, top management responsibilities, and human resource development. Meanwhile, the material referred to in this STPH and provisions for using all types of material, raw material, additional material, and auxiliary material that are halal as evidenced by a halal certificate, except for non-critical material and according with applicable regulation. Halal product processing or PPS is an activity to ensure product halalness, which include the provision of materials, processing, storage, distribution, sale, and presentation. The provision in this SGP8 related to product produced from halal material processed in manner according to Islamic law, using equipment, production facilities, packaging systems, storage and distribution that are not contaminated with non-halal material. The finished product do not contain names, shapes, and sensory characteristics, profile that lead to haram products, and are products that are declared non-halal based on the fatwa provision. Monitoring and evaluation related to the implementation of SGBS can be carried once a year. The next, we expect that IPMA Management School will take participant of halal forum activities like in Halal Global System Ecosystem, ASEAN Working Group on Halal Food, University Network of IMTGT, in Working Group on Halal Product Assurance, and Strategic Halal Industry Collaboration Task Force. Then the positioning IPMI management is very potential to improve development of science, especially for halal by research, community outreach, and scientific publication. BPGPH encouraged IPMI Management School to prepare of student needs, and the curriculum shall reply how to improve the skill of millennial students in digital technology was very rare. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Ibu Subandria, for your wonderful speech. Ladies and gentlemen, and dear speakers, before we move to the next session, I would like to invite all the speakers to have a photo session first. To all the speakers, Prof. And also Prof. Aman and Bu Subandria, may I have your camera open, please? All right, and also the moderator. Okay. Coming in. Okay, is it ready? All right. And 3, 2, 1. Thank you. All right. Dear ladies and gentlemen, our next session will be led by our moderator. Therefore, allow me to pass the floor to Bapak Agus Lukman as the Senior Fellow of IPMI Center to moderate our main agenda. Oh, sorry, but before that, I would like to notify you again, if you want to listen in Bahasa Indonesia, you can click on the globe icon for the Bahasa Indonesia interpreter. All right, Pak Agus, the time and place are yours.
Thank you very much, Mbak Putri. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sisters and brothers, welcome to our webinar. And please allow me, first of all, to introduce our featured speakers. First and foremost, Ibu Lena Prawira. She is currently the Deputy Head of International Cooperation of the Indonesian Food and Beverages Industry Association. In terms of her daily duties, she is actually the Managing Director of PT Kirana Anindita, which is a joint venture corporation with Swan Stabilo Cosmetics, producing cosmetics pencils. Other than her working experience, she is also affiliated with other organizations. She is a member of the Indonesian Chamber of Commerce in Industry, Kadin Indonesia, especially in the industrial elements of halal business, and the Deputy Committee of the Halal Industry Empowerment. The second speaker would be Pak Sancoyo Antarikso. Pak Sancoyo Antarikso has been the chairman of Perkomsi, which is the Indonesian Cosmetic Association, since 2018, after he previously served as the Executive General of the organization. Mr. Sancoyo is currently an independent commissioner of PT Darya Varia Laboratoria Terbuka and a commissioner of PT Upfield Indonesia. He previously worked for PT Unilever Indonesia for over 30 years, and most recently as the Governance and Corporate Affairs Director for Corporate Secretary. He was also in charge of the company's halal management in this capacity. He is also active in charitable work, currently the board of patron of chair of the Save the Children Indonesia Foundation, graduate of Gajah Mada University, but also with IPMI International Business School. Finally, we have Professor Marco Timan. He is our senior fellow at IPMI International Business School. Together with IPMI, we conduct various types of research on halal purchasing, halal supply chain management, and also teaches the master class of halal business management to supervise the PhD or DBA candidates in halal business management related research. He's currently also the CEO of LBP International, which is a supply chain strategy consulting and research firm advising clients in the area of procurement, production, and supply chain management. The LBP International started in The Hague in the Netherlands in 2002, expanded to Asia in 2003 with a regional office based in Kuala Lumpur. He is also a board member of the Al Madinah Heritage Company in Saudi Arabia, but also he is the halal research currently as the at the Halal Research Center in Malaysia with a team of halal experts to conduct research in halal procurement strategies, teaches halal business management masterclass as well. And please note, we also note that based on his latest book, he has written book Halal Business Management, A Guide to Achieving Halal Excellence. With that, I now turn to Ibu Lena Prawira. Your floor and time is yours, Ibu. Please, Ibu Lena. We have Ibu Lena. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pak Agus Lukman. Good afternoon and good morning, good evening to distinguished participants from overseas. My name is Lena Prawira from GAPMI, is the Association of Food Manufacturers in Indonesia. Pak Agus Lukman mentioned that I also managing director of cosmetics, but I do also have food companies here producing snack and some frozen products. So that's why I'm in the GAPMI, Pak Agus.
Yes, thank you, Ibu. My apologies for that.
Okay. Would like to explain first about GAPMI. Is the association. The members are above 400 companies. There are Unilever, Nestle, Indofood, Mayora, and some other SMEs also. Here, I am representing our chairman, Pak Adi Lukman. He apologized he cannot join. And I would like to start my presentation by sorry, how come? Yeah, okay. By talking, presenting about the food industry in general. How are we food industry in Indonesia now after the pandemic? As you know, Indonesia is a large country. The coastline is 99,000 kilometers, but maybe the some facts that we can highlight here is that our population is the fourth largest in the world. By the last data from our Statistic Bureau, it's about 275 million people, where almost 87 are Muslim. That's why halal has become a very important halal food, halal product, very important for Indonesian population. And for the GDP, food consumption it comprises of almost 49%, where the processed food is about 1/3 of our GDP expenditures. And with related to the economic information, thank God that this year Indonesia still book positive. Inflation is still manageable, 5.42, but the economic growth is thank God, it's also positive, about 5.72% by the third quarter this year. So that's the fact about Indonesia. So, and this is more detail about the food and beverage industry. During the pandemic 2020, the economic growth negative, but the food industry still book positive, even though still not reached now the growth from before pandemic, but we are doing good still. Hopefully we can still increasing our growth next year. And further, so our goals in 2045, Indonesia has goal Indonesia Emas, or Golden Indonesia, where we aim to reach the GDP per capita about 23,000 US dollar, where now it's about still 4,000 US dollars. So from here, the predicted population by 2045 will be around 319 million population. That requires us as a food industry to be more creative, to be more to meet all the consumers' expectation, that they expect the processed food will be more variety, more added value, better quality, and more functional. Okay, here is some trade balance of semi-processed. I think not really, no need to talk more, but this changes along the food supply chain is very important. As you can see here, despite all some factors like the tariff implemented by some countries, especially during the war, the Ukrainian war, there's some more and more restrictions from countries to export or to import the products. And we are facing the logistic issues. We're also the quality, nutrition, healthier choice from demanded by the customers, and also halal. So despite all of these factors, we are still the company. We still need to be more competitive, yet profitable, and offer some added value to our products, that we can be more competitive in the market. So these are the we can say that this is the challenge for food industry. Regarding halal, so according to the report, Global Islamic Economy Report 2022, Indonesia is ranked as number 4. We are still below Malaysia, Saudi Arabia, and UAE. But for the halal food, Indonesia rank is now number 2. We move higher class to number 2, and we are aiming to be number 1. That's why our government really already have some policies to increase our ranks in this GIE rank. For cosmetics, maybe Pak Sancho will talk more about this.
Ibu, you have 2 more minutes, Ibu. Excuse me.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Here are more.
Yes.
About still global Islamic economy. I think maybe we can talk more about this later, ya Pak. But
Yes, Ibu.
But actually, this is represents what Pak, the opportunities
Yes,
for
sure.
food industry in halal. That not only we have almost 225 million Muslim population, but we can also we have the market for Muslim or halal products for the 1.9 billion Muslims worldwide. So this is actually the opportunities. The challenges here is that I would say, sorry, Ibu Subandria, that by the deadline of 2024 for food industry to be halal mandatory, there are still some homeworks need to be done by the government. Why? Because we are facing that the infrastructure itself is still not ready. For the BPJPH, let's say, for example, the number of the ulama who can give approval statement that this product halal or not, still not enough comparing to the numbers of the food products apply for the halal. So these are the challenges. The universal halal standard, halal ingredients, we have to admit that we still use lots of raw material, imported raw material, that we need BPJPH to accelerate the MRA with the overseas halal body. So they it will accelerate also. It will make the food industry and maybe cosmetic industry to be easier or to be more faster in implementing the halal. So these are the halal ecosystem Indonesia. So this is for you can see here the numbers of the food industry players. The medium bigs already thousands. The MSE, micro, small, medium, almost 1.7 million players. So you can we can predict that how long it takes to get the halal approval if we all apply at the same time by 2024. So this is the conclusion, ya Pak, that we really have to accelerate the infrastructure to be ready for the 2024. That's from me. We can discuss later. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ibu. Thank you, Ibu Lena. Our next speaker now is Bapak Sanchoyo Antarikso. The forum and time and place is yours, Pak Sanchoyo.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Profesor Aman, Ibu Subandria, Ibu Evrin, fellow panelists, Ibu Lena and Pak Marco, and Pak Agus as the moderator. So I will structure my presentation in three parts, if you like. One, I would like to talk about the cosmetics in Indonesia, how we define and how the market in Indonesia, halal cosmetics, why the challenges and opportunities, and the final thoughts. So if we talk about cosmetics, perhaps what come into your mind is about makeup, is about face care, but actually our Badan POM or the FDA and our Ministry of Health define it larger than that. So it's basically the product that are intended for use on the outside of the human body or on the teeth and mucous membranes of the mouth, especially to clean, fragrance, alter the appearance, or improve the body odor, or protect or maintain the body in a good condition. So that's the definition from Badan POM, and it's also aligned with the definition from Ministry of Health, also from the Indonesia Standard Industrial Classification 2020. So this is important to set the context that the cosmetics is large and basically it's used by male, female, from cradle to grave, 24/7. So that's the cosmetics. A number of organizations define cosmetics or call cosmetic as the beauty and personal care. So now cosmetics for the Indonesia. Statista estimated that into 2021 the market size is about $6.3 billion US. It's about 91 trillion rupiah. And it is expected that in the next 5 years, the CAGR will be close to 6%, which I believe, looking at the current development, could be higher than that. What is also interesting is that last year, the number of izin edar or distribution permit issued by the Indonesian FDA is increased by more than 22% as compared to 2020. This is a testament on how the Indonesian cosmetic industry dealing with the pandemic by introducing innovation. On the other front, from LPPOM MUI, one of the halal inspection agencies, the oldest and by far the largest, the halal decree issued is also increased close to 60%. And we are comparing it 2021 versus 2019. This is for cosmetic. Yeah, this is for cosmetic, and the first 9 months in 2022 has already increased or higher 13.6% as compared to full year 2021. So Ibu and Bapak, as other sector and category, pandemics is also impacted to cosmetics industry in Indonesia. 2022 we recorded negative growth, but it's been improved in 2021, and hopefully 2022 it will be much better. Pandemics impacted the behavior of consumer. They adapted, for instance, in beauty, to fit the mobility. The other interesting factor is that the contribution of online sales is also kept increasing. In 2022, it is expected to increase close to 60%. So 60% of the sales coming from online. And the other heartening fact, which also confirmed by Kantar World Panel, is that we see the rise of local cosmetic brands in the beauty online. As also Ibu Lena mentioned, in cosmetic industry, we have a significant contribution from the small and medium enterprises. Now, the growth of cosmetic, I believe, is also supported by the huge and young populations, increasing consuming class, digitalization and technology, and relatively lower consumption per capita as compared to the neighboring countries. And also, as Ibu Lena also mentioned, the increased GDP per capita. Because some of our category, if not most of it, will arise along with the rise of the wealth of the society. The Ministry of Industry categorized cosmetic as a pillar industry andalan, as the category keeps growing, attracts investment, and provide employment, both direct or indirect. Now, why cosmetic has to be halal? There are two reasons. One is religious reasons, and the other one is more on legalistic. So I think the first two are religious reason, which self-explanatory, and the last point is that according to the laws of the land, then by a certain date, then products and services must be halal certified or stated otherwise. For cosmetic, as from 18th of October 2026, all cosmetics distributed, traded in Indonesia must be halal certified or stated otherwise. It's less than four years. I counted this morning is 1400 days. So it seems long, but it's not. Now, let's talk about the opportunities of halal cosmetic in Indonesia. I think Ibu Lena has mentioned some of it. The fact that 87% of the population is Muslim, making Indonesia is the world's most populous Muslim majority country, and it's also represent the largest halal consumer market in the world. In 2020, the Indonesia Halal Markets Report stating that consumer spend on halal products 184 billion, and more than 4 billion is for cosmetics. Globally, cosmetic spending by Muslim consumers is also increased. Last year is about 70 billion. And expected to grow to reach 93 billion in 2025. The other thing is also increasing religious awareness within the Muslim in Indonesia. For instance, the number of people who went for Umrah increased at the rate of 11% from 2015 to 2019. Queuing for Hajj became longer and longer. The number of women wearing hijab is increased, as well as the number of pengajian, as the Quran reciting, the number of ustad, and the list goes on. Penetration of smartphone also plays an important role here. All of these create new product needs, including halal cosmetics.
You have 2 minutes, Pak Sanjoyo.
Sorry?
You have 2 minutes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And also the support from the Indonesia government to reach the halal vision. Now, it's not without challenges. Yeah, outlining two of it. Is one, how to accelerate halal certification, especially for cosmetics, and the other one is on halal ecosystem. So I think, as also mentioned by Ibu Subandria, at the moment we have 31 lembaga pemeriksa halal or halal inspection agencies. Out of 31, only 7 that can audit the cosmetic, can halal audit cosmetics. Out of 7, only 3 that has national coverage. Out of it, only 1 that has international coverage. So I think in terms of quantity and quality capability, it needs to be pushed so that it can also keep up with the number of product that needs to be halal certified. We understand that the regulator is required to issue many implementing regulations. The industry, cosmetic industry, is ready to provide input so that it could be smoothly implemented. For instance, the current regulations on the halal logo on label is rather difficult to be implemented for some of the cosmetic products due to the required size of the logo. Therefore, ideally, there is a cosmetic-specific halal standard that accounts for the sector's unique characteristic. Bu Lena has also mentioned about the mutual recognition that needs to be pushed and expedited. My understanding, there are only 3 that have been progressed. One from Korea, the other one from the United States, and the other one is from New Zealand, but it's still yet to be seen. As also mentioned by Ibu Lena, most of the raw materials for cosmetics are still imported. So this is also poses another challenge because the awareness of the international suppliers on halal is not at the same level. Yeah. The other thing is on post-production lags, on transportation, distribution, storage, which we are still awaiting the regulations, the implementing regulation on that. So final thoughts: the opportunity is huge. There are pulls from the consumers and pushes from the government, but as I mentioned, the challenges are not small. Therefore, collaboration among the stakeholders is crucial to make it happen. So, learning from many companies that already implementing halal for cosmetic, then it is important to have the tone from the top. As we also learned from the pandemic, innovation is key. However, halal need to be embedded at the very early stage in the product design. I thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you very much, Pak Sanchoyo. Our next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, would be our Dr. Marco Timan. The time and place is yours, Professor Timan. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Agus, Prof. Aman, Dr. Subandria, Ms. Lena, Pak Sanchoyo, distinguished participants. I see already more than 300, which is great to see. May peace be upon you. I'm very privileged as a senior fellow with the K Center to share you some insights on a helicopter vision and total halal industry perspective on the bottlenecks in the halal industry, as well as the halal ecosystem, and also more on knowledge and skills required to help the halal industry. let me put my slides on. It's good to realize that halal is not static. It's going through an evolution from a product approach to halal, where the product is certified, towards the entire supply chain, which was also shared by Dr. Subhadria from the Halal Authority, BPJPH, where not only production is important, but also the services. So risk and reputation is extremely important from source all the way to the point of consumer purchase. Secondly, where halal is moving towards in the coming years is towards a halal value chain, where halal needs to be addressed in the entire business value chain, looking at procurement, looking at sustainability, R&D, human resource, Islamic banking, finance, also known as takaful, zakat, and also halal risk and reputation management. That makes halal quite complex if you're dealing with a total supply chain of a brand owner. So what we also see, I think, in terms of bottlenecks is that, as also shared with Ms. Lena, is that the halal industry is large, a multi-trillion industry. The problem of the halal industry is not the demand. The actual problem is in the supply. And so we see an endemic shortage of ingredients for food, also in cosmetics, as also shared by Pak Sanchoyo, but also pharmaceuticals. We had 2 months ago, we had a workshop organized by KNIKS on pharmaceuticals and vaccines. Also there are problems on raw materials, ingredients. So that is a design fault of halal supply chains. We are very dependent on imports from non-OIC countries. So what we need to do, I think, as OIC countries, and also Indonesia in particular, I think has important tools in terms of the manpower and the land available, that we are producing halal products. We need to create complete production clusters. We need to, in order to boost production of halal in food, cosmetics, and pharmaceuticals, and also other areas. We also need to create synergy through collaboration. So we have to link the halal clusters together domestically, also link to other halal clusters outside Indonesia, and to create those synergy advantages, market access, and access to raw materials. It is good to realize that there's the important second bottleneck in the halal industry, that with the exception of a few OIC countries, including Indonesia and Malaysia, a lot of countries have not regulated halal, and that there are a lot of fake halal logos, and there is a lot of fraud in the halal industry, where the Muslim consumer cannot always rely on the halal logo on product packaging. So that is a problem which needs to be addressed. Secondly, there's a lack of mutual recognition of halal standards. So if you are a producer in the industry, your halal certification body will determine which halal certification bodies are recognized. If you're certified by the Indonesian Halal Authority, if you want to carry other halal logos, if you're exporting to other countries, you often need to go through an entire new certification process. So what is the future look like of halal? Is it only one halal logo? Is it a local halal logo plus an OIC recognition? Are we moving towards a halal QR code? So I think these are important issues that we need to discuss among the halal industry, but also I think among halal certification bodies. As halal is moving towards a supply chain and value chain, there's an importance of organizing a halal ecosystem. There have been initiatives in various countries, in Malaysia, Indonesia, and also other countries, even in Europe, to create halal parks. Halal parks, in the traditional sense, which were started first, were dedicated zones for halal industry to manufacture halal. In some countries, there were even special incentives by the government to make it attractive for industries. I think it is important to look at more comprehensive halal ecosystem for industry that are able to simplify halal for industries and also create better collaboration to manage their supply chain and manage their halal value chain. I think the halal ecosystems that need to be developed that can boost halal production, we also need to look at what I call in my book economies of change, where you're looking at which kind of supply chain should we work together with other ecological fitting supply chains that create far higher profits, as well as looking at sustainability. In this example in front of you, you see that the used coffee grounds can be an extremely important growing medium for mushrooms that is far more better than other growing mediums. Also, the waste of mushrooms can be a fantastic ingredient in animal feed. So by connecting the coffee chain to the mushroom chain and the animal feed chain, which are looking at total different supply chains, you can create much higher profit and also a far better environmental blueprint. So that can be realized in halal ecosystems. I think there's one great example of an halal ecosystem in Indonesia, Modern Halal Valley, which is built on the pillars of Halal Park 2.0. They have created a total cluster with also programs for SMEs, for farms, and larger industries to connect supply chains together. Finally, I want to share some thoughts on what kind of knowledge and skills are required. I think foremost that we have to understand that halal is based on ihsan, the concept of excellence. Excellence in quality, so no compromise on inputs, on ingredients, on primary packaging, and in processes. Also, we need to look at excellence by design. So a halal assurance system, which is a requirement for halal certification, is an important building block, but also proper supply chain blueprints and risk and reputation management. It is important, next to having the documentation, is also that you practice those documentations to make sure that these documentations are correct, consistent, and complete. Also, it's important to measure your actual performance of halal integrity, as well as your corporate halal reputation, because these are so important where halal is moving towards a supply chain and business value chain. People are extremely important if you want to achieve halal excellence. So it's not only the people within your own company, but also the people you're working with in your supply chain. So your suppliers, but also your customers, your distributors, and also other agents and even retailers you are using, or e-commerce. Engagement with your customer is extremely important to understand if the halal requirements are well met and the needs, the specific needs of the Muslim communities are met, which might differ in Indonesia from Malaysia, Brunei, or the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And the final component of halal excellence is that you need to be in balance with nature, also known as mizan. There's been great books written on the link between Islam and the religion, and also the need to protect the planet. So if we talk about halal excellence, we also need to address the impact on the environment. So what are important skills, I think, which are needed for the future business leaders? They need to understand furthermore the concept of halal excellence, halal supply chain management, halal logistics and retailing. So Indonesia recently launched a new standard, the HAS 23000 module 5, which talks about halal logistics. So this is already happening in Indonesia. Also, OIC SMIC introduced an international halal supply chain standard in 2020. purchasing is important, branding and marketing will be important for the total halal value chain, as well as halal risk and reputation management. And the IPME, the business school, we have started in fact already on an halal business management masterclass covering those components. There's an online masterclass, and we will have 3 times even next year master class sessions on halal business management, May, June, August, September, and November and December. So these are 3 times a year that we will be offering that halal business management masterclass, which might be of interest. If you scan that QR code, you can also register your interest. So this was my presentation. I look forward for the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Timan. We'll just have to wait for the song. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to enter into a discussion mode, particularly between panelists about what we've just discussed among the 3 of you, but also an opportunity to engage with our keynote speaker as well, Ibu Subandria. Maybe as a start from the discussion, I'd like to raise the question, particularly with regards to the current preparation for the government regulation. I think, can you maybe explain, just give us one in each of one of you, particularly speakers, and then I'll follow up with Ibu Subandria. From all the challenges, what would be the main challenge? I mean, the key point in the preparation of this government regulation, what your sense on your own perspective, just the main challenge, and just one, for example, in the cosmetics, the food beverages, for example, but also Marco, from your helicopter view, what in that Indonesia should start as a basic identification of a challenge, and I'll come back to some other follow-up questions on that. Maybe you could start with Ibu Lena.
Thank you, Pak Agus. From my perspective, the readiness of our BP.
Okay.
Yeah, readiness of our BPJPH.
I'll write that down.
Because it's just not balanced between the numbers of the ulama, the auditors, with the number of applicants, applications. Yeah, because if you remember, the big companies is already 7,000. If they have 100 products to be halal certified, we can calculate how long it takes, because halal is not just like a regular quality system that if already fulfilled, then it passed it already passed, but it has still to be brought to the Komisi Fatwa, where the ulama will then make decisions. So it's always our concern that how many ulama can give the approval. That's from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Bulena. Very good. Pak Sanchoyo, what would be your perspective about?
Yeah, I think I build up on what Ibu Lena has mentioned on the infrastructure in terms of the actors who do the halal certification process. But I would like to also mention about the readiness on regulations. Because if we look at the law itself, the law number 33, then the scope is huge in terms of the value chains, product and services, as well as the product that needs to be halal certified. So I think regulation is very important.
Just to be specific on that one as well, Pak Sanchoyo, does this mean also that they need to prepare and also eventually speed up the process for implementing regulation as well? Does that include?
I think if we look at the law itself, it mandated that it needs to be equipped with the implementing regulations. And my understanding, not all of the implementing regulation has already been issued. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think, as I mentioned earlier, the industry is ready to provide the input to prepare that.
Right. Prof. Marco, Prof. Timan, please.
I think there are three main challenges with meeting the new Indonesia halal requirements. I think, first of all, as also highlighted by the other speakers, is that there is a big shortage of raw materials and ingredients. So Indonesia is the first country to make halal certification mandatory. So there will be a problem on shortage of halal raw materials and ingredients when you are very dependent on imports. So that will be a problem. Secondly, I think also I agree with Ms. Lena, is that the micro SMEs in Indonesia are a very large number. So what is currently proposed in the Indonesian law is to do self-declaration by micro SMEs. That might seem a way to solve the issue of certifying micro SMEs. On the other hand, I'm just concerned when micro SMEs they have challenges, maybe not on halal, but on TAIEB, the quality system. And when they are starting exporting, it might have consequences on the value and recognition of halal Indonesia. Thirdly, I'm worried about the readiness of the service industry. The food industry, because manufacturers are more familiar with halal. This is not the case for the service industry. Talking about logistics, there are no seaports and airport terminals halal certified yet in Indonesia, limited in logistics. Distributors, not many are halal certified. Retailers, very few are halal certified. E-commerce players are very new. Most of them are less than 5 years old. They have very little knowledge of halal. So I think the service industry will be a main challenge of this new regulation. Thank you.
Thank you, Timan. Now, from all of this, and I was thinking of how can we, I mean, we identified the challenges, now, my question now would be raised to Ibu Subandria. My question would be, now that speakers have sort of laid out these main challenges, Ibu, is the government or an element of the BPJPH, do you have a program for example, a pilot project, some form of a transitional method in which we can able to, one, identify those challenges and then systematically try to address those issues, and then before we conduct a full rollout from that law, for that particular policy? Do we have those steps, Ibu, those plans from BPJPH?
Yes. Thank you, moderator.
Yeah, Ibu, please.
Okay, challenges, like our speakers mentioned, and I pay attention. So, related for pilot project, yes, we have. SMEs for halal certification for SMEs by self-declare, and then I will start for we knowing that large number of Muslim population show potential market and production base, and show Indonesia has enormous potential and opportunities to realize the global halal ecosystem through certification of halal food product, and show development of halal food products, strengthening of halal food products, and development of industrial areas for halal food products. So one of the pilot project. Today, we PPGBS do hand in hand with relevant ministries to facilitate for SMEs halal certification, and PPGBS encourage for SMEs to heal the halal product. Thank you.
All right, Ibu. Maybe another way of trying to find some form of a guidance here. Has there been, for example, an attempt to create a policy preparedness pilot project so that there'll be an opportunity for us to similarly, we have this mini exercise at the moment to identify what would just be the main challenges, and then one by one, but in a systematic way and periodically, that will be able to monitor and then to make sure, and this is something what Bu Lena and others, Pak Sanchoya, but also Pak Prof. Timan, that when the time comes, there will be no disruption, Ibu, right? And so that's where I'm getting at. Are there any attempts to do that? Because like what Pak Sanchoya mentioned, in terms of regulation, for example, or even preparedness, I think all of the corporate sectors here, the private sector, are ready and actually ready to help. That's my trying to the message here. But even from the international perspective, coming from Pak Marco, I think we do have an opportunity here to somehow to help you, Ibu. But again, that the question is, firstly, has there been any plans to have that preparedness, policy preparedness?
Me?
Yes, Ibu.
Okay, Bapak.
Some ideas, yeah.
We know that's opportunities from regulatory. Now, halal has been trending topic not only in Indonesia but in the world. Halal has significant impact on international trade. Then halal was corporate to support for improving economic, trade, industry, and investment. Therefore, our product, especially SM, is to encourage halal certification, and so we'll be able to get for share market and national, regional, and international level. And like I have mentioned, that Indonesia has enormous potential and opportunity to realize the global halal ecosystem, like Pak Marco Timan PPT expose, and then Bapak Sancha, that's
Sanchoya,
regulation.
yes.
Sanchaya, sorry. Yes, I agree that regulation is very important. Why? Regulation is umbrella for activities, and PPGPH have done implementation of halal certification, not standing alone, but hand in hand and cooperation with stakeholders between relevant ministries, LPAs, MUI, especially for Papua Council, and then Islamic community, not only Islamic community, but all community, all people. That's university, private and government university, and then like association, like CAPMI, especially for food and beverages. And then especially cosmetic, like Pak Sanjaya Antariksa has exposed in presentation. That's really because we are Muslim. That's very need halal cosmetic.
Thank you.
But halal not only for Muslim, but for all. And my tagline, halal Indonesia for the world.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ibu. Now I think we should end the discussion session for today. everyone. And I would like to move the Q&A session for our audiences. So far, I have compiled about 4. Maybe I'll start with 3. And it's actually directed to Ibu Subandria. So there are a lot of attention, Ibu, to you. And I think it's understandable. The first question, Ibu, would be kindly explain by mandatory halal certification, does it mean that the halal body is a must from Halal Indonesia, or is it accepted if the halal body is from approved foreign halal body? So, yeah.
Yes. Related for halal certifying body, yes?
Yes,
Yeah.
Ibu. Does it mean that the halal body must be from Halal Indonesia, for Indonesia, or is it the halal body can be also be approved from a foreign halal body? Yeah.
Halal, firstly, halal certifying body must register by BPGPH. Yes, and halal certificate body or halal certifying body who has done collaboration before BPGPH, like collaboration with MUI, not must submit cooperation to BPGPH.
Right. So if it's a foreign halal body, that can be accepted under Indonesian law, and then but must be registered with the BPJP JPH.
Yes,
Is that correct, Ibu?
Pardon? Sorry.
If there is an approved foreign halal body, it can be accepted in Indonesia under Indonesian law if that foreign halal body registers to BPJPH. Is that correct?
Yeah. Because halal body, halal certificate body first must fulfill required document, and before it first, like there is a special rule that's G2G MOU for countries. It's very neat.
All right. Second question.
Yes.
Yes, a second question, Ibu, from the floor to you would be, where or how can we find the list of foreign halal body which have been approved by BPJPH? Because on your Jaringan Kerjasama Kelembagaan slide, there is no mention at all for this approved foreign halal body. Yeah. For everyone who need to translate Jaringan Kerjasama Kelembagaan slide, which is the network of institutional network that BPJPH is currently maintained.
Yes. Noted moderator, I suggest for halal certificate body send letter to head BPGPH to knowing about status progress of BPGPH, because that's very much around 100 halal certificate body. And
baik, Ibu.
Yes.
And
I must look up one by one.
Yeah, but there's no list which can publicly be accessible. For example, at the website, Ibu, can we place that? So a list of foreign halal body which have been approved by BPJPH, Ibu. Would that be possible?
I'm not sure. I will check. But yeah. But list of submitted new or old halal certifying body has, and then complete data, not complete data has. But ECPUS and si halal platform maybe not yet. I'm not sure, because we revise until now of upgrade status, especially si halal platform. Thank you.
All right. Gosh, a lot of questions from you, Ibu, if I may say so. Maybe the third one.
Agus,
Yes.
can I add some?
Yes. No,
Okay,
yes, please. It's
Elena.
open. Yes, please.
Ibu
Yes, please.
Subandria izin ya, Bu?
Yes.
Okay,
Silakan,
thank you.
Ibu.
No problem.
Yes.
I think from my the latest update that I received about 2 days ago, BPJPH still in the process of MRA with overseas halal body.
Okay.
But,
right.
at the moment, as far as I know, only 2 or 3 countries already done, but not yet with others. And also, for your information, it will be not implemented to all products, but I think only for the raw materials, slaughtering.
Yes.
I forget the other 2, but not yet for the finished product. So for the finished product, if you want to export to Indonesia and you want to put the halal logo, you still have to get the halal certification from BPJPH. That's maybe if I can add. Thank you, Pak.
Thank you,
Splendid.
Bu
Splendid.
Lena. You are right.
Bu.
Yeah. Thank you. That's like import scheme like that. Thank you.
All right. Let me see now. There are questions. Okay. If there will be an import of food processing product arriving on October 2024, so this is a case, but still using the halal logo from approved foreign halal body by BPJPH or MUI, how BPJPH should handle this food product? Kindly explain. If there is an import,
Yeah.
would you able to? Yes, please, Ibu. How would you
Thank you.
handle this?
Yeah. Before 3 months, 3 until 6 months before the deadline expire, it should submit to BPJPH for renewal halal certification. For example, one halal certificate body or a company, business operator, I mean, before for example, before BPJPH action or BPJPH processing halal certification, business operator can submit halal certification directly to BPJPH.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ibu. Also, another principal question here, and this relates to the transitional period, Ibu.
Yeah.
Is there a grace period for the company to prepare for the mandatory requirement? Ada grace period.
Sorry.
Is there
Sorry?
a grace period whereby basically a period of tolerance or non-compliance, for example, but basically to give the opportunity for the companies to prepare for this mandatory requirement?
As like my presentation, there is period or stage of beverages, food and beverages, starting October 17, 2019, up to October 17, 2024, and then and then non-food and beverages started for last year, yes, October 17, 2021. Up to, that's very heterogeneous, maybe 2024 to 2026, like my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. This is also another interesting question, and it can also be responded not by Ibu Subandira, but everyone if possible. Another question. I would like to ask about the requirement for a halal supervisor. It is stated that it's compulsory for the halal supervisor to be of Indonesian nationality. How do companies outside Indonesia comply to this requirement? Interesting.
Yes. Thank you, moderator.
Yeah, Ibu.
Halal supervisor and show halal auditor is the same a Muslim because of given by mandatory the law number 33 2014 article 14 item 2b and then halal regulation for government regulation number 39 2021. Thank you.
Does that restrict Indonesian nationality, Ibu? Does it have to be an Indonesian national? Warga negara Indonesia?
Indonesian nationality.
The question would be interesting would be, how do companies outside Indonesia comply to this requirement? Because do we have, for example, representatives outside Indonesia or plans to do that? Because it has to be the supervisor be simply because it's limited to Indonesian nationality. It's not just about the faith, Ibu, being a Muslim.
Yes, if for example, yeah, LPH for Indonesian, but if like halal certificate tadi, there is a fulfill or document like what's just minute.
All right.
Yes, like list halal auditor must be Muslim.
Yes.
Yes, like that. And
yes.
One certificate, one certifying body must minimum 3 halal auditor. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to also thank you, Ibu Subandira. I know a lot of questions to you, but I would also to give another possibilities for other speakers to also add other information, something that may be relevant that for our participants or audience might want to, if you want also to mention some particular issues that might have not been discussed, now it will be your time as well. Professor Timan, Pak Sanjoyo, and Bu Lena, I welcome you, please.
Who start?
Yes, please start, Ibu Lena.
Pak Sanjoyo.
Pak Sanjoyo, yes.
Yeah, Pak Agus, thank you. I think the law has been enacted, and the timeline has been issued, has been set. So I think it's the responsibility of any stakeholders in the industry to work together, so that we can meet this quite ambitious target, actually. So I think as I mentioned earlier, the collaboration is the key. I think everybody needs to understand each other positions. Everyone needs to listen each other so that we can make it happen together. In issuing regulation, for instance, I think the regulator also suggested, recommend to also listen the voice from the private sector, from the so that the regulations that is issued is actually implementable. So we avoid any unnecessary discussion after the regulations is issued and it cannot be implemented, etc., and so forth. So,
Yep.
so I think that is the key. I think collaboration is the key.
Okay. Thank you, Pak Sanjoyo. Professor Timan, any thoughts?
I think a lot of halal certification bodies in the world are already in discussion with BPAPH regarding mutual recognition. So, for example, if
Okay.
I'm a manufacturer in Malaysia, I'm certified by JAKIM. If I'm exporting to Indonesia with a simple registration, I can also carry the Indonesian halal logo. And so those mutual recognition discussions are progressing, I think, quite well, and I think, God willing, will be sorted out in the coming years. I think also as halal ecosystems, the importance of halal ecosystems, as halal regulations put in place. Indonesia is the first country to make halal certification mandatory. I think other countries will also follow.
Okay.
I think for industries, I think it's very important to produce from halal ecosystems. And Indonesia has been developing halal parks, and I think that can simplify halal for a manufacturer. It can also simplify halal for an SME and micro SME. So my recommendation would be try to work in halal ecosystems to simplify halal certification, simplify access to halal ingredients, additives, and simplify halal logistics, simplify distribution, simplify e-commerce. So we have to develop those halal ecosystems to make this work in Indonesia, in Malaysia, and I think in other OIC countries as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we would like to end the Q&A session, and I would just also I thank you for all of you who had contributed to the questions as well. I thank you, Bu Subandira, for being patient with the questions. Speakers, thank you very much for your response.
Moderator, excuse me, may I statement for my closing statement?
Please,
because
please,
I agree
Ibu.
with
Yes,
Prof.
Ibu.
Timan and
Yes.
Pak Sanja.
Please, Ibu.
Yes.
Sure,
Thank you.
Ibu.
Yes, it's very interesting. It's very useful for us.
Thank you,
And
Ibu.
strongly agree with Pak Sanjo that the key is collaboration. That's right. And then recognize halal logo between like Malaysia, Indonesia, especially in ASEAN. BPGB last semester have a forum dialogue with representative Indonesia, KBRI. So we effort how to hand in hand for collaboration in ASEAN. So not only in Indonesia, but between Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, one packet in sub-regional IMTGT, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Crude Triangle, especially working group Halal, HAPAS, Halal Production. And then Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, Brunei, and Philippines by BIM EAGA. Is crude area, agriculture area. So related for food security, and then halal food. And then I strongly agree, halal ecosystem must be established. And then like today, IPMI, Center, and collaboration with IHATEC, supporting by scientific publication, maybe halal research, and so related halal industry in Indonesia. We have opportunities in halal industry, need to strengthen halal value chain, to strengthen halal industry actor, especially for SMEs, and then to strengthen halal brand and awareness. It needs high intensitas. Yeah. high intensitas, middle intensitas, or low intensitas. Because Indonesia is going to start range for halal industry. Like Malaysia has halal industry collaboration task force and halal pact like Tok Bali. So Indonesia ranks under Ministry of Industry, kawasan industri halal. Nah, and today around 8 until 23 preparation for kawasan industri halal. And so halal industry is an excellency program of government of Indonesia to develop the Syariah economic in Indonesia. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibu. If I may say so now, I would like to move on to the conclusions, ladies and gentlemen, of our webinar today. And if I may suggest, I would like to share with you some of my personal observations about the webinar today. First and foremost would be that the current state of the halal certification process at the moment is a dynamic development. This is something that Professor Timan had mentioned. Remember that Indonesia will be the first for the certification model here. And there'll be possibly even a lot of challenges there, and we can understand that. But again, we need to support Indonesia one way or another in a more systematic way, and to make sure that actually that upon the actual mandatory halal certification is actually implemented, there will be as much as little disruption be found here. And one of the way in which that personally will be able to recommend would be a sense of a series of actions conducted by the Indonesian authorities here, relevant ones, including BPJPH, if they would allocate their time and energy to conduct some form of pilot projects and a sense of even a preparedness assessments, so that and the results of those assessments be publicly informed to the public, accessible to the website, so that everyone understand what are the knowledge gap, but also an appreciation, right? That, like what Pak Sancho mentioned, it's an ambitious event, but needs to be moved forward. People can appreciate further. I also appreciate what Ibu Lena mentioned about, again, the so-called halal logo represents a symbol of cleanliness, yeah, quality and purity, and also but security. So it's a universal value, yeah, and therefore these types of opportunities of understanding going beyond just as a Muslim faith, for example, that also needs to be somehow be sustained. The key word that has been mentioned among the speakers, but also including Ibu Subandria, would be the word collaboration, synergies among stakeholders, yeah, both internally but also externally, linkages with the supply chains, for example. All of the things are actually very much a good element, and that's something also poses some form of recommendations moving forward, that communications are open, that communications can be resolved, and avoid, like what Pak Sancho mentioned, the non-implementable of future government regulations. It is actually something that's tiring, but also, again, it's a threat to the so-called integrity, even to this great efforts that we're going to do in Indonesia. We also acknowledge that there are still pending. All the speakers had mentioned about that the infrastructure needs to be ready. There are still not enough experts here to support. But here, we also being balanced that even the private sector are here to help, and not just private sector, Ibu Subandira, but also other elements of society are here to help in this large and long-term endeavor. I think those are the main conclusion of our webinar for today. There will be many more to come in the days and months to come, and we look forward to further discussing and also to update everyone on the progress as we move into the mandatory halal certification in Indonesia. Thank you. And now I return the floor to our MC. I yield to the MC. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pak Chris.
Thank you very much for
You're welcome.
talk and the lively questions and answer session. There are so many questions directed mostly to Bu Subandria, but to all participants, if your questions to the speakers are still unanswered, you can click on the post-webinar link that I have sent you in the chat box. We will update the answers and also the material slides to be sent to your email. And then let's move on. Ladies and gentlemen, as we have reached our last session, I would like to pass the floor to Mrs. Afrin Lutfika as the Director of Indonesia Halal Training and Education Center, or IHATEC. We are very grateful to have her and the IHATEC team that we can join this collaboration webinar with much enthusiasm from all the participants. Mrs. Afrin, the time and place are yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam, Ibu.
Good afternoon. The Honorable Speaker, Professor Insinyur M. Aman Wirakata Kusuma as Rector IPMI International Business School. The Honorable Speaker, Dr. Subandria, Coordinator Halal Registration from Halal Product Assurance Body, Ministry of Regulatory Affairs.
Thank you.
The Honorable Ibu Lena Prawira, Deputy Head of International Cooperation of Indonesian Food and Beverage Industry Association, or GAPMI. Good afternoon, Bu Lena. The Honorable Speaker, Bapak Sancoyo Antarikso, Chairman of Indonesian Cosmetics Companies Association, or PERCOSMI. And also the Honorable Dr. Marco Timan, Senior Fellow IPMI Center and CEO of LBB International, and all of distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. Alhamdulillah, it gives me a great pleasure to address this closing session. Allow me to first convey special thank you, appreciation to all of the participants who have attended the webinar Halal Business Management Dialogue Mandatory Halal Certification in Indonesia, preparing for the 2024 Halal Certification Challenge, Constraints, and Opportunities. The main purpose of this webinar is to provide us updates on Indonesia's halal regulation and also share the experience and knowledge from the side of industry in the previous session from PERCOSMI and GAPMI. Ladies and gentlemen, since October 17, 2019, there have been significant change to the halal industry in Indonesia through the full implementation of law number 33 of 2014 concerning of halal product assurance. Article 4 mandates that products that enter, circulate, and are traded in the territory of Indonesia must be certified halal. As a country with the largest Muslim population in the world, the mandate of this law is a form of state involvement in ensuring that products circulating in Indonesia have a clear halal status to protect consumers. This mandate also aims to protect and increase local industries' competitiveness from the invasion of foreign products and serves as one of the mega projects from the government of the Republic of Indonesia, as this nation aims to be a leader in the halal industry by 2024. We face so many challenges to overcome the aims of the government of Republic of Indonesia. That's why we hope that all of participants can implement the knowledge from this webinar, especially from all of the speakers that really competent. Yeah, we hope that you can implement the knowledge in your institution. Let me finish by saying thanks to all participants and also the committee from IPMI and also from IHATEC. Yeah. So actually this webinar we cooperate from IHATEC and also IPMI. IHATEC as a leading halal training and halal consulting firm in Indonesia, yeah, and also IPMI Business School. We ready to support the halal industry to fulfill their competent halal professional needs. And also, as one of the organization appointed by BPGPH, IHATEC, we are appointed by BPGPH to conduct training following the standards. And also we commit to deliver the best experience to create competent halal professional in halal aspect. We also ready to help companies to achieve their goal in Indonesia's halal certification process. In the end, the future of the halal industry is bright along with the goals of the government of Indonesia to be our leading halal industry by 2024. We have to solve the challenge, catch the momentum, and also grab the opportunity to win in a globalized halal industry. Once again, thank you very much for all participants and all speakers, all committee for supporting this webinar. Hope to see you again in the future agenda. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Efren.
Mrs. Efren. Ladies and
Thank you, Mrs.
gentlemen,
Andrea.
we finally come to the end of
Thank
the
you.
webinar. Once again, as there may seems to have some questions not answered, we will firstly keep the questions and we will send it to your email along with the materials. So don't forget to fill in the form link that I have sent in the chat box. Everyone, participants, speakers, our moderator also, thank you very much for your participation in this program. We hope you have found this event informative and useful. Thank you for participating, and we hope to see you at our next IPMI, IHATEC, and this collaboration program. Stay safe, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.